So today, our guest speaker is Dirk Terpstra. Dirk is an intuitive speaker and a renowned HeartMath certified trainer who helps us to live more heart-centered lives. His mission is to inspire you to become more deeply connected to who you truly are, so that you can become the most beautiful version of yourself. Please join me in warmly welcome our good friend Dirk Terpstra.
Thank you. Thank you. I also want to welcome the hotspotters. So I have this global Coherence hotspot network where we radiate from the heart, and it happens to be every Sunday at 11, which is your time here with Unity. But so quite a few of the hotspotters are now tuned into, so welcome. It's so good to have you also with us, and everyone who is online, of course, who couldn't be here. I'm not sure if my talk was announced in a certain, with a certain topic, but I would like to get into accessing the deeper intuition, especially in times of change or in times of challenge. Because that seems to be something that a lot of people are currently struggling with. And does anyone agree with me when it comes to challenging times that we're currently living in? Does anyone feel that here with me, or am I the only one? You feel that, hey? So, what makes life challenging? Is it maybe because some finances are being challenged? Was it the observing of suffering of others? Is it because you feel that you cannot speak your truth anymore because there are a lot of things changing? Do you feel that the wars created by the old ruling system are completely going against your deepest values, and that's what makes you suffer? I deliberately started going right into the topic. Normally I break the ice and I talk a little bit about myself, but who's really interested in me? It's more the message, of course, and I want you to pay attention to what you feel this morning. No matter the words that I use, it's still my second language. I'm still sometimes struggling to use the exact words that maybe land on you, but you can hopefully feel the essence of why I'm here and what I'm sharing. And in the afternoon, I would love for you to hang out with me, because otherwise I would be all by myself. That's not fun. We have a workshop going on about learning more about heart coherence, but also the effect of heart coherence on our intuitive capacities. So that's as much as we can get into, like 3 hours. But what makes life challenging? Or is it maybe that you feel loneliness, that you feel that there is a lack of genuine connection? A lot has happened in the last couple of years. We've seen a lot of changes. We had such interesting conversations yesterday evening, and I'm staying with Janet and Brian, and I thought it's so interesting. I'm thinking about doing this talk about accessing deeper intuition, about a time that we live in that is challenging. And then our discussions land on that without even going into the topic. So I work in the field of complex trauma, and if you want to know what the biggest challenge is for the people that I work with, it's usually a lack of control. Because there was a time in their life that they could no longer control the situation that they were in. It was either life-challenging, life-threatening, or something horrific that happened. And the one thing the body naturally does, it tries to control, because that, in the end, could save your life. But when that emotion is so high, it gets locked into your system. And now, for the rest of your life, if you don't get help, you try to control life. And you might know as well as I do that when we try to control life, we get in our own way, and it's not very helpful. It's helpful in situations where it's truly needed. And so what we do is our brain is constantly activated, our nervous system is constantly activated, and we live literally by the hormones of stress. And then often when I sit with groups and I see such a beautiful healing happening in the group or in the individual work that I do with people, I often think of the metaphor of where we are in the world are at. And I think, yeah, I'm working here with these individuals who come to us to find some support and hopefully some healing, because their lives are not working as they dreamed of they would ever be working. And then I think the world is probably in the same place. And the antidote to control is that we start gathering knowledge, because the brain loves knowledge. And the more knowledge we gather, the more you satisfy the brain. And it's good, because we have a brain that we can use in very smart ways, but only if the brain is at a good place. But if the brain responds basically on the trauma that we experience in our system, and it's not only with the people that I work with, it's inside of all of us. Because when you say, or when I say, we are all one, what does that mean? When we feel really connected and we feel so loving and we hold hands and we stand there and we feel that loving connection, yes. But when we are at our worst, sometimes we get challenged. In times of our lives that is very difficult, can we then also realize that we are all one? And that actually, when we are in that place, we contribute to the field in that way. And I believe that that's also where the Ho'oponopono prayers come from, where you ask for forgiveness for the contribution, what you contribute to the field with every single day. But our brain says, it doesn't matter, because I need to control, because the function of the brain is to perceive what's happening around us. Whatever it's in the political spheres, whatever it's, on any level, the brain needs to know what's happening, because the brain will keep you safe that way. But if it's so much so that the brain can no longer predict, then we feel uncertain. And we say, well, the brain tries, and it's still, everything is out of control. And all the wars are being fought, and people are bad. And the brain tries to make sense of that, but it can't any longer. And then we feel really challenged. And sometimes what we do is we become a different version of ourselves. We become not so nice anymore. We're less open. We're less receptive to other people's values and beliefs. We are shutting off because the body is fighting a war inside. And so now the war, whatever war is being fought outside there, is now being fought inside. And now you become part of the war. And I know that you don't want that, but then sometimes we lack the tools, the capacity to say, but how do I break through that? Because it's such a challenging world. And then to even further to, support the brain even more so, we start watching the news because at least we know that we need to know what's going on. Or we gain more knowledge, we get more degrees in whatever the work is that we're doing. And it satisfies and relaxes the brain temporarily. And yet, and I see this everywhere, and that's when I am here, every time I've been here since, I forgot, 2018 or so, I don't feed your brain with knowledge. I try to avoid that. You might have felt that, especially if you've been here before when I was here. The last that I like to do is to feed your brain with knowledge, because I know you have already enough of that. And so, what do you have control over? And I dare to make a bold statement that you do have control, actually, over how you feel. You might not always have the tools, not always have that capacity, but you do have the capacity to connect with your heart, as you know, to drop into a place of gratitude for the things in your life that you feel really, really grateful for. And when you do that, something happens, chemistry-wise, in the body. The body subtly relaxes. Because when you speak about healing, in whatever way, I don't like to use that word because I always think we're all whole. It's more our retuning, refining, balancing the way we feel inside. When you talk about healing, all that we need, all that we want is to be connected to Source, to feel connected to something that we can trust, that we can rely on. But the problem is when we are in that state where we feel so challenged with our, with the brain being activated, a switch, it's a metaphorical switch, is being flipped in the system, in the body, in your nervous system, that says, I have to fight this, or I have to either run, or maybe I have to hide, but I'm not safe. And the body, the interesting part of the chemistry in the body is that the body can either be in fight or flight, or it can be in a, let's say, a rest and digest mode. The body cannot be half in stress and half in repair. That's impossible for the body. So you could say, yeah, but sometimes I have a really big stressor and sometimes a smaller stressor. That's correct. But all of the time, your system is still in fight or flight mode. And if the system is in fight or flight mode, no matter what you do, no matter what doctor you see, no matter whatever support you get, if your body is in fight or flight, no healing is possible. And therefore, if you have been in that state for a prolonged period of time, a couple of months, a couple of years, a couple of decades, if you've never been really in that rest and digest mode, do you believe that your immune system is optimal? Do you believe that your digestive system functions optimally? Because metaphorically you're running away or fighting that. And the body truly cannot perceive the difference between what is real and what is being perceived by the brain. And we might sit here safe, be grateful for the connection that we have, the love that we feel, the connection with Source. And at the same time, the body might be fighting internally. And so therefore, also in the afternoon, I will focus more on what is it that we can do to truly tone down that autonomic nervous system for you to get at a place where you sit and you say, I'm not just in my brain saying like, I'm really good and I feel we're all one and I'm so grateful for everything that we have. But we really want to work with that nervous system to really address that and to fine-tune that and to measure that. Because that's in the end where I see a lot of people still suffer. And once you get to that place, then something very unique happens. And that's why I said intuition comes from the Latin word intuere, and it says looking at. And then the beautiful song lyric said, you look at that and then you know. And that's exactly what intuition actually is. We know. How can we know without really having proof that we know it? How can I speak here and bring up things that I barely prepared? You know, where does it come from? Where do I tune into? And where do we all tune into? But we need to be able to be grounded. We need to be able to be in a coherent place in order to let Source in, to connect with our higher self. And everything else that we do is good, but it doesn't get us to the place where we want to be. And then, as we are all tuning forks, and we ripple out the frequency into the field, we tune the field in a certain way. And so your tuning fork, your presence in the world is not just about you. It is about all of us. And the more we tune ourselves to the frequency of Mother Earth, you might want to say maybe the frequency of love, the frequency of light, whatever words we use. But the beautiful thing is, when we get into a coherent state, the tuning fork measures 7.8 hertz. That's the frequency in our hearts. And guess what? The base frequency of Mother Earth, the magnetic field, is 7.8 hertz. This is where the indigenous culture started talking about aligning your own heartbeat with the heartbeat of Mother Earth, of Gaia. That's when we're at our best. That's what the animals do. Because we live in a time that is not just chaotic because of what is happening on the planet. It is chaotic because of something else. Because everything first happens in the energetic field, and then it trickles down into the physical field, in your body. But also, what we see currently on the planet is a result that has been predicted for thousands of years, because with our entire solar system, we move through space, and we are in a very unique time. I won't go into the details about that, but the field is different, is very different. And you could say, whatever, but you are the field. That means is that your bodies are tuned to the field. And when the field temporarily start changing, for the better actually, for a higher level of consciousness which is possible in that new field. But the biggest challenge is that we don't like change. Humans don't like change. I see that every time again. And I usually call it the metaphorical river of change that we have to move through. You're at one side of the river. And he said, I don't want to be here any longer. I said, well, let's move then to the other side. I says, yeah, but I haven't learned swimming. I says, we're together. Let's support each other. And you put your foot in the river and you say, that's cold. I said, well, you want to change, right? Okay, yeah. So we're going to swim. And then you feel the current, or you hit your foot against a rock. And you look back and says, I'm going to go back. This is why breaking with addictions is so hard. This is, when the state of the body subtly changes, the body says, hold on, I don't think that's okay. Because what we see with cymatics, when you put frequencies in sand, for example, and you have a certain frequency that you play, and you see these beautiful ripples in the sand, these beautiful patterns, you say, that's beautiful. And we say, let's tune it a little higher, that frequency. and see how beautiful it then gets. And so we tune up the frequency just a little higher, and suddenly you say, you ruined the entire beautiful pattern. I say, wait. And then before too long, there's this even more emerging beautiful pattern out there in the sand. You say, geez. And I believe when you say, hey, wait, you ruined that pattern, that's where we currently are on the planet. That's where we are. Do you have the capacity to feel that truth? Do you have the capacity to see beyond the current chaos? Because all systems need to break down before something new emerges. But it doesn't emerge from our leaders. It emerges from our hearts. From your heart, from your heart, from your heart, from my heart. I believe the times are over to sit and wait for change to happen, or to become really judgmental of people who create change that we don't want to see. What did Buddha say? Be the change you wish to see. And it sounds beautiful, and sometimes it's so hard. But when you learn to tune your body, your own tuning fork, to the frequencies of Mother Earth, that's when you position yourself in the best way possible, and you say, you know what? Yes, I feel the chaos out there, but what I do is I create order in here. And I know I'm one of the 8 billion tuning forks on this planet. And do not forget, it's not only unity globally that helps tune the field. It is a lot of meditation groups. It is my Coherence hotspot that we have globally. We are tuning the field, but we are in a phase just in between. And things are so different that usually people are predicting the future by extrapolating the past. That's the best the brain can do, because the brain is linear. And therefore, we move so slow as humanity, because we say, this happened, it probably will happen again in a different form. Humans are actually bad, or whatever people say. Is it possible for us to sit here now, to be present, to tune into the loving frequency in our hearts, to radiate, to ripple that out, and to really be the change you wish to see? Because then, in this moment right now, we do not have any problems. I see you sit here, you have warm clothing, I notice you're breathing, you're paying attention. Right in this second, I dare to say, nobody has an issue. Maybe in the following second, or the next 5 minutes, or tomorrow, that's what the brain does. The human brain has the capacity to plan. It has foresight. None of the animals have that. So is it possible for us to close our eyes, to take a deeper breath, and maybe to feel all that I shared with you, to feel that in your heart, to breathe through that. And maybe you want to say thank you. Thank you for all that we can feel. Thank you for being able to feel grateful. Thank you for the connection that we can feel with one another. Can we breathe and through our heart space and imagine and knowing that you are that tuning fork? Because you are looking for what you're looking from. It's all there. As long as you have the courage to tune into that intuitive part, your intuitive heart, your God-given heart. And for the afternoon, you will learn that when you can learn to tune your heart, you tune your brain, you tune the essence of your life, you become a better parent, a better neighbor, a better citizen, and that's when you really are the change you wish to see in the world. So thank you.
When you feel alone without a friend to guide you, even in the dark you can see the light. It shines through the hurt. When it seems the world is hard and cold, you'll find the strength to deepen your soul, and it won't be long till the sun shines again. You can change your life, live your dream, be your own best friend. There are people in this world who will drag you under, but don't give in to fear. Don't let them get you down. Don't be afraid to show them love. Be true to yourself, you'll rise above. Believe in love and fear will end. You can change your life, live your dream, be your own best friend. It takes time for things to grow. It takes time for love to show. It's not easy to lay that burden down. Keep working hard and you'll see, you'll make your dreams reality. You won't be scared when that time comes around. Change your life, live your dream, be your own best friend. Oh, it takes time for things to grow. It takes time for love to show. It's not easy to lay that burden down. Oh, keep working hard and you'll see, you'll make your dreams reality. You won't be scared when that time comes around. No, change your life, live your dream, be your own best friend. Why don't you change your life, live your dream, oh, be your own best friend. Oh, be your own best friend. Why don't you be a friend to yourself?
Thank you, Tom. And did you know Tom wrote those last two songs? And thank you again, Dirk. It's always wonderful to hear your message. You're such a light. Thank you. So now we come to the time in our gathering where we give in thanks for the spiritual nourishment we have received. And as you prepare your offering, please remember you are entirely supported by Spirit moving through you. So let's say our offering statement together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. And now some announcements. This Wednesday evening, why not check out our Enlightened Manifestation Made Simple. This new course unpacks the intersection of science and spirituality, and it will empower you to manifest significant improvements in whatever areas of your life you choose. This week's class is on meditation for co-creation and on deactivating limited beliefs. I've been attending this class, and I got to tell you, Randy Purcell, who facilitates the class, is so passionate and has the most amazing stories, and I encourage you to come out and attend. Each week's a standalone class, but you'll benefit even if you only attend one class. And join us this week, Wednesday evening from 7 to 9. Our next Explore Your Inner Being class is a program that evokes self-discovery and heightened awareness of mind, body, and spirit. The next class will be on Thursday, March 7th from 7 to 9 in the lower level. And if you've ever thought of serving in a spiritual capacity, check out our prayer chaplain program orientation and Q&A session next Sunday, March the 3rd. It's a short session from about 12:40 to 1:15 upstairs, and it'll clarify what's involved in becoming a prayer chaplain, the duties and the time commitment. And finally, I'd like to call on Roy Prevost, a former board vice president, to come up and talk a little bit about the auction. Roy was the person who initiated the process, and he's going to explain a little bit about what's involved. Roy?
Thank you, Shirley. Morning, everyone. Great presentation, by the way. Loved it. So, yes, this online auction that Shirley was mentioning. Excuse me. Well, to give a little context, I'm part of the Rotary Club in New Westminster. And for the last 5-6 years, we've been putting on an auction that's happening right now, as a matter of fact. And it started out as an idea. I chaired the committee for about 4 years or so. And it's an opportunity to raise funds for whatever we're doing. And so I approached Randy and Terry about potentially doing it here. So the system is pretty clear about how it works. And just to give you a little background, the first time we did it, we raised $5,000. And now today, as it is happening, we raise about 40 grand. Now we have partners and we have all kinds of other things going on. So we have created a soft launch, very soft. In fact, randomly, about 100 people or so were contacted, and probably some of you, where you got a message saying, go online and bid. And the reason it only went out to 100 people is because we wanted any glitches or any challenges we might have with the software, we wanted to take care of them. So if you didn't receive the note, it's not because we don't love you. It's because we didn't want to expand it too far until we've put the whole process together. So over the next coming weeks, you'll be hearing from either Randy or myself or Terry. And it's an excellent way to raise funds for whatever projects we're working on. And we have, as you know, things going to be happening in Unity for the building and whatever else is going on. So this is a great opportunity to do that. And so I didn't, as a matter of fact, part of that 100 people, I didn't receive it. And I'm one of the organizers. Not that I'm bitter. I'm just joking, but the reality is now the thing will start to unfold a little bit more, and we'll have more details. So Randy and Terry or myself will be able to help, offer, ideas that we're going to be putting forward. And if you want to discuss it further, I'll be downstairs at the end of the service and having coffee, and feel free to come by and ask me any questions that you want. So there you go. Thank you so much, and stay tuned.
Thank you. So today's affirmative prayer chaplains are Jeannie Bell Irving, Barb Richards, Mike Richards, and on Zoom, Marilyn Norrie. Barb, Mike, and Jeannie, could you stand up so people can see you? And to have a confidential prayer with one of our chaplains, simply come up at the end of the service when the music's finished. They'll be standing over here and would love to support you in prayer. And if you're watching on Zoom, I'll show you how you can participate in just a few minutes. Of course, join us downstairs for coffee, tea, and cookies and conversation. And now, as we bring our gathering to a close, stand and let us say together our prayer for protection.